Welcome to our first ever episode of our new video series, Give Smart, the ins and outs of corporate giving compliance. I'm your host, Isabella, and in this series, we're diving into what businesses and nonprofits need to know to run legally sound, impact-driven giving campaigns. Today, I'm joined by Vikki Karan. She works with businesses that are brand new to philanthropy, helping them structure giving programs that are both impactful and legally sound. So we're going to talk about how businesses can get started with charitable giving, the biggest mistakes companies make, and also what nonprofits should know when working with corporate donors. Vikki, thanks so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, Isabel. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Before we dive into all the stuff I just said, can you introduce yourself and just share how you got into this work?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm Vikki Karan. I'm the founder and CEO of Vikki Ventures. And how I found my way into this work was my background was entertainment. But when I ended up at an impact company, Omaze, that was using the power of entertainment to help make the world a better place, getting under the hood, I realized how heavily regulated the charitable giving space was, and it wasn't just heavily regulated. Let's take, for instance, if you're a professional fundraiser, is regulated differently in 42 different states, and there's nuance, very, very different nuances. And the geek in me got excited because I enjoy nuanced areas and how I can help navigate those. So the people who are doing the incredible work can focus on that, and I can focus on making sure that they will be able to do it smoothly.
What does the process of incorporating philanthropy into a company like that look like? And maybe having worked at Omaze, you saw how those things can be so closely intertwined and that they can be very mutually beneficial. You can both donate and your business can thrive together. How do you help companies define their charitable giving strategies and just like any key steps that businesses should take away from your knowledge when they're just getting started?
So I'm going to start at the beginning of that question. And listen, I was raised in the 80s in New York, and so there's and when I say that, there's the capitalist at heart of me, and you don't have to take a vow of poverty to do good. I also went to Catholic school and was raised by nuns. No disrespect to those nuns. There are many avenues on how we can do good. As a professional fundraiser, Omaze was taking a percentage of what the nonprofit was making, which a lot of people could have critiques about, but I rather have the nonprofits benefit and have the structure benefit nonprofits. And people are incentivized to make more money for making more money for nonprofits than individuals or for-profit organizations. So that's what excited me about this model, was it really was who is receiving the bulk amount of income that we're taking the percentage from. And I'd rather have it be that nonprofit than individuals or for-profit corporations, even though they're getting their cut from it. So that leads me to when I first work with a company, they ideally, and I really hope as more companies evolve, they think about their values up front and what their philanthropic brand is that's tied to their values. But if they haven't thought about it yet, I'm there to do the work with them. And I'm there to do the work with them even if they have thought about it, and how do we build that out into your business model. The fun part about this space is there are countless ways to set up that structure on how you can make money and do good. There are so many ways to do that. And I work with my clients to explore the ways they can do that, because there are so many cool tools that we can use that, again, you can do good and make money. And there's countless ways to structure that.
I think you had said this to me before, where you are, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like you are making the pie bigger. I'm forgetting how
I can't take credit for that one. That's Omaze very much leaned into that concept of that we're making the pie bigger. The way I say it on my calls is these nonprofits are seeing money they wouldn't have seen otherwise. Yeah, it's not just about the nonprofit. What I love, and one of the reasons I launched my business, is creating more everyday philanthropists. There's stereotypes about the space. And to me, anyone and everyone can be a philanthropist, and I'm determined in the rest of my career to further that concept and movement.
When you have a new client who approaches you and they're like, we really want to give back, but we're just not sure how to fit it into our business model, how to even execute on it, how to find a nonprofit to work with or multiple nonprofits, what's the first thing that you say to them? What's your first line of action?
You've come to the right place. You've come to the right place because this is where I have fun. Love curating nonprofits. Love selecting those nonprofits. I'm in Los Angeles, and I joke what stylists or trainers do for the outside, I do for the inside. So I am here to make sure we're really touching on those inner values that make everyone feel great and and have these nonprofits they wouldn't have seen money otherwise from. So where we start is, let's look at the current business structure. And there's 101 different ways we can structure. I kind of run through it with a menu, like a menu for them, of what are all the different ways. And the expression I use is, let's open up the field so you can run through it, and create as much space for them to play.
Are there any like unique, maybe more specific types of, I want to use the word initiative or campaign, or I'm not quite sure exactly how you speak about it with your clients, but any unique approaches to incorporating philanthropy that you might want our audience to know about that maybe hasn't come across a lot, or
Yeah,
that hasn't come up a lot?
well,
Yeah.
I'm in love with my clients, right? So I'll do plugs. Jack Pocket Gives is so cool with how they go live, and they're doing live sweepstakes reveal, and they're benefiting charities. Boundless Giving is so cool, taking physical merchandise and they're partnering that with charities. That's incredible. Also, just simple sweepstakes. So I will say that, like, what I love that we built out, and sorry I'm plugging all my clients, but I don't take them on unless I think they're cool and doing something cool. But I love Future Money, and they built out a 529 sweepstakes. So they offer the junior Roth IRA, and so with their junior Roth IRA for a whole year, they're giving away $529 every week for the 529
Wow.
funds. And I love what they're bringing to the personal finance space and allowing for the growth of wealth. Again, opening up access to wealth and tools for wealth to a much wider audience. That's the type of stuff. I mean, Triple Zero is giving away a really unique Porsche right now. That's a sweepstakes we built out. I'll stop plugging, but everyone I've worked with, we've been able to build out something unique. I love the never been done before. And if there's one pattern throughout my career, there's no question it's the never been done before. That's where I get excited.
Yeah, it's like a new frontier of how to give,
Yeah,
essentially,
it is. I mean,
or
it is.
just
There's so
having
many
more
different ways.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no, it's, I absolutely know, especially with what's going on in the world, this is the forefront of the coolest space for growth in business right now, which is how to create more ways to give. There's no question we're in the right place right now. It's a very exciting time to be in the space.
We've talked a little bit about the kind of fun, I would say, fun aspect
Yeah.
of giving and thinking of really cool creative ideas, unique ideas, getting people excited about new ways to give. Let's talk about compliance, because none of those things would be able to happen without some kind of checks and balances, or just like crossing your T's and dotting your I's, making sure that everything is buttoned up before a sweepstakes or a campaign or a partnership goes live. That's where things can get kind of tricky. So what legal requirements do you see some of your clients often overlook when launching their first campaign or
Yeah.
initiative?
I know this isn't a debate show, but I am going to debate you when you
Sure.
imply that compliance is not fun. Because for me, and I'm just giving you a hard time because I find compliance so fun, and I know there's no way I'm the only one. There, we might be a subculture, but there are
Good
a
point.
whole crew of us who really geek out and have fun in the compliance space. T crossing and I dotting. We are a real movement of people who love this. So I find it fun. People forget that this is a highly regulated space. People don't know it's a highly regulated space. You can't know what you don't know, and it's really dangerous for people to enter this without working with someone like myself. There are others in the space. I am here because others have come before me. Number one step is reach out to change. If you are doing anything good, reach out to change first. You can reach out to me too, and I'll get you to change. But again, no paid, not a paid ad. But you guys are the expert in the space, and you're going to help navigate what, if anything, they have to do. I'll do the same. That's why we work in conjunction so frequently, is because these are values we both have.
When a client comes to you and they have this great, cool idea, what is typically the first compliance related thing you have to kind of help them through? Is it more so explaining, hey, like you're about to enter this really complicated space? Or is there something, do you sometimes guide them to go into a different direction if it's like too complicated? there's like a bit of risk management I'm assuming these companies have to do, especially for companies might be who might be listening to this and they would like to do a sweepstakes, but they're just not sure if it's like the right choice for them.
I would say my first step is to put them at ease, and say, we can figure this out together. And your dreams can come true, and we'll figure out a way to do it. One of my favorite things in the world to do is to read something complicated and be like, okay, this is BS. It doesn't need to be this complicated. Let me break it on down for you. So break on down very difficult concepts. So to me, I don't want to get them in the weeds as much as listen, hear what they want to do, and lay out the ways we can get there. It's not for them to live in there. It's for them to be creative geniuses, and that's what entrepreneurs are. They are artists. They're no different than the musicians I used to work with. They have creative dreams that they want to release out into the world. And just like when I was younger and I used to work with bands, it's the same thing in how do we help make your dreams happen? And I'm here to help us navigate that together.
I know you work with a lot of professional fundraisers. Just for our audience, do you mind kind of describing what a professional fundraiser is and a very, very brief overview of like the kinds of things that you need to do when you realize that you qualify as a professional fundraiser?
I'm not sure many people realize on their own that they without having a lawyer
Yeah,
tell them
tell them
that they are a professional fundraiser. But what I will say is if you end up being a professional fundraiser, you are at the beast of compliance. If you're making dreams happen and you're doing something really cool and unique, which Omaze was, and then I land there and I see under the hood they're professional fundraisers, and I see how archaic this space was, where the law still reflected telemarketing as how often this was done. So we've watched the evolution of the law. So if you want to make cool things happen, you quite often have to get under the hood and find out what's happening. And what's happening when you're doing what Omaze was doing is you're a professional fundraiser. So there's heavy regulation that goes into it. While there are other companies and law firms out there who will handle this registration, from our own experience, if you're going to attract as much attention as an Omaze did, there is no room to play around. A lot of times what we don't talk about is we want to make this as easy as possible for the nonprofits that are receiving the funds. And to get nuance, and this is where we're getting nuanced here, is if you are a nonprofit, you care deeply about your 990 because it's public and it's going to get analyzed like nobody's business. This new frontier where you get a hybrid model of what Change and Our Change Foundation have done is they open up the space so more nonprofits don't have to worry about their 990s, and Change is allowing grant making at a level I've never seen in the space. For high volume grant making, there's the technology that Change has combined with the hybrid model of Our Change there's no competition. And I'm just saying that as, again, getting into the nuance of this, I don't need my clients to understand this, but I don't want them to get burnt.
The state AG or the Secretary of State or whatever in these 40 so states that do regulate professional fundraisers, they will have your eyes on you, essentially, if they notice that you're doing like a lot of volume. That's, yeah.
And I want to make a statement on this, which is I am not anti-regulation in anything. As a proud resident, I will say, of the state of California, I love that my state is protecting me as a citizen. The good actors need to make sure that we're doing what we need to do, so the citizens know they are safe with us. We are here to create opportunity for the nonprofits we all care about to see money they wouldn't have seen otherwise.
We know that sweepstakes, which qualify as a professional fundraiser in almost all states that have these regulations, that can be very complicated compliance journey to have. I'm wondering if there are any donation models or campaign ideas that are perhaps less intensive with the compliance aspect of things. Do you ever guide them into a different direction so that they can still give back in some way?
We should not be intimidated by sweepstakes. If I need to say that again, we should not be intimidated by sweepstakes. We are here to hold your hand through the process. There are other ways to do giveaways. There are contests. There are so many different ways to promote and activate people around your brand. Sweepstakes are just one of the promotional tools. that we can, one of the many things we can play with, one of the many levers we can pull to do fun and cool things together. The complexity is something is never going to make me not want to walk into that space. I am very conscious of expense for my clients, but there are ways to do this in really thoughtful ways.
It should be fun, and I think that's like, yeah, I think not shying away from things like that, because there is so much opportunity. There's so much opportunity for engagement, and the dollars raised can be so much greater than if you go in a different direction, of course.
There's a couple
So
stories.
that's really
Yeah,
cool.
there's a couple stories about that space, and it's like I have absolutely heard multiple nonprofits say that a charitable sweepstakes has created enough money for them to run their opera budget for an entire year.
When a client approaches you and they have an idea for a new campaign, or they want to kind of dip their toe into giving, how do you keep the momentum going after that first campaign or initiative is over? How do you encourage them, or yeah, just like how do you encourage them to keep going and keep giving?
Well, ideally, it's part of we build it in as part of their business model, where revenue can continue to come in. This talk, if we're talking professional fundraisers, is an essential part of your business where money will continually come in. You could have daily giveaways, you could have weekly, monthly. There's so many ways we can keep. I'm going to say the fun. I don't know why today's theme is the fun, but there's so many ways we can keep the fun going. But ideally, we build it into the model that it's not a one-off. It is a constant source of eyeballs and revenue into their brand.
If you build a program and tie it to revenue, then that is a much stronger case for continuing to do it, essentially. If you take that first step and you incorporate giving, you think about your business model, and you, from the start
Yes.
thinking about how to give, then it also has actual genuine impact, which is really what this is about. It's
you be a better
about making
brand.
sure,
The
yeah,
next generation,
definitely.
like the next generation wants this. If you want the next generation to be engaged with your brand, you actually have to implement some sort of we do good somewhere in the world, and we're going to share that story with you.
I love it. I love it. The excitement around incorporating giving and making sure that that's central to a lot of companies' business models, and like all the clients that you work with. I think that's great. On the flip side, there's also, of course, the nonprofits that are a key player in all of this. They benefit from all these campaigns, and especially now, many nonprofits are under pressure to secure funding. So I'm wondering, these nonprofits might now be turning to corporate partnerships or looking more toward corporate donors during this kind of unstable time. So what advice would you give nonprofits who are working with businesses in this kind of capacity, like a sweepstakes capacity or just a more formal corporate partnership capacity, for the first time?
That's a great question. And the number one thing I'd say is be open to innovation. Again, I hate to bring this up again, but evolve or die, and be open to innovation. That's definitely like show up to the Engage for Good conference. Let's have conversations there together. Always take the call. When I reach out and I say, I have this incredible opportunity for you to see money, to get support you wouldn't have seen otherwise, and I'm reaching out on behalf of an innovative client of mine, don't be scared of us. Innovation is good. We come in peace, and we're here to get you money you wouldn't have seen otherwise. So allow for innovation. Be open to innovation. Lots of these conversations are happening at the Engage for Good conference, and there's other venues. So take the call, be open to innovation.
Before we wrap up, I have to ask, do you have a favorite cause marketing campaign or a corporate giving initiative? One that really stood out to you, either for its impact or for its smart approach?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this. I'm not going to lie, when I saw the questions come through in advance, I was so excited for this question. And the reason I was excited is it allows me to talk about what influenced me and bring us to modern day and what we're capable of doing. So growing up, and a lot of you will probably not know this, but I will talk about it for those that do. There was this Jerry's Kids, which was for Muscular Dystrophy Association, and every Labor Day weekend, like it felt like the entire, again, this was before the internet and when eyeballs were not on our screens all the time. They would do these incredible activations that Labor Day weekend, it felt like the whole world knew it was Jerry Lewis's telethon, and we needed to raise as much money as we could for Jerry's Kids, which was for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. And my local candy store, which was called Sweet Cravings in Hartsdale, New York, which doesn't exist anymore, but I love this place, they would do like an ice cream eating contest, and they would have clowns and pins and like canisters everywhere to raise money for Jerry's Kids. And I remember taking the canisters Labor Day weekend and going out to like parking lots at supermarkets and doing everything I could to raise as much money for Jerry's Kids. And the reason this was impactful and why I loved it, it engaged community. And we were in this together, and it was exciting and it was fun. And that brings me to change. I swear, not a paid ad, but that brings me to change. And you've created the tools for us to open this up to the world and create opportunities for community giving. And so I could bring my clients to you, or you can, send clients my way, and we can create opportunities to engage community again and create these really huge cultural moments and movements of community giving. I miss those days of community giving where we all came together around something we cared about. To me, anything that like creates cultural movements about bringing, community together for giving is where I really glow up.
I want to say thanks for being here, and thanks to all of you who have been listening in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to hear more about corporate giving and the legal compliance that goes along with it, be sure to follow along on our page here. Click subscribe or follow in LinkedIn here. We'll be bringing on more experts to break down what businesses and nonprofits need to know to make an impact without running into legal trouble. So thanks again, Vikki. We really appreciate you being here, and as always, love working with you, and thanks so much.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm glad I could help kick off this series. I'm looking forward to seeing the next ones.